Somebody told me I was where to go. Somebody showed me I was last to know. Sail me down the river. Sail me down the river. Sail me down the river. Sail me down. What I wanted is what I wanted. What I wanted is what I wanted. Waiting on a Sunday afternoon for what I read between the lines of your lies. Feeling like a hand in rusty chain. So do you laugh or does it cry? Reply. Leaving on a southern train only yesterday. You lied, promises what I seem to be. Only watch the time go by. My voice is still blown. I should be singing in lower register. Anyway, welcome. Congratulations. You, the Rube, have chosen the apocalypse. And since you have chosen the apocalypse, you are in need, desperate need, of a guide. I am your guide, your humble guide, Nicholas. Things are getting spicy. I wasn't expecting to see something so blatantly evil. 1.5 million people to be removed. That will be the case if Donny Shitbags has his way. So much for that protest vote. How are you feeling about that right now? The pro-Palestine crowd who decided that Kamala and Joe were a bridge too far. But the convicted felon whose son-in-law wants to put a resort on Palestinian land, he was not a bridge too far. Donny Shitbags would love to put a resort there as well. That's some yummy property. Isn't that what Jared and Donny said? You heard that. And you voted for it. Or you stayed home in protest because of that issue. Well, how is it working out for you now? Let us see. What does the good book say? Come and see. Come and see. Yes, come and see. I have a whole bunch of things I wanted to talk about, and then I saw this tonight. This is like one of the last things I saw, and I can't believe this. Okay, let me give you some context. A bunch of animals attacked the Israelis, came into their homes financed by Vlad and Iran, etc., because Vlad was getting his ass kicked in Ukraine. So he had to open up a second front. Donnie's poll numbers were shitty and Biden was looking good. So we needed to throw a monkey wrench in. Satan needed to throw a monkey wrench in it. So Vlad decides, okay, let's unleash this attack on Israel that we've been keeping on the back burner for just the right moment, right before an election. And boy, does everyone have an opinion about the Israel-Palestine thing. Everyone has an opinion. Rarely an informed opinion, but most people have an opinion, and they're ready to jump on a side real quick. Me personally, I judge each instance between the Israelis and the Palestinians on its own. And in this instance, 2,000 animals, armed, went into people's homes while they slept, relaxed, etc., or at unawares, and to a festival where people were listening to fucking music. Gunned them down as if they were nothing. Went into people's homes, raped, murdered, pillaged, tortured, took hostages. They still have hostages today. I don't care what your cause is. No cause justifies that son. And I would not want any of that on my head, going into people's homes, raping, murdering, and pillaging. I don't care what your fucking cause is. So a lot of people got mad that Joe and Kamala were helping Israel, our only ally in the area, after that disgusting attack. Not that Israel needed help, because every single man that took part in that attack will be looking over their shoulder the rest of their life. They all might as well be dead men. Israel does not forget things like that. So a war ensued. And of course, ultimate insult to humanity was perpetrated. Abomination upon abominations was perpetrated. So of course, retaliation was going to take place. And it did. So now Palestine is all fucked up because they decided it was cool to go into people's homes and murder, rape, and pillage in this instance. And the footage, dragging young women's bodies dead through the street after they've raped them, throwing them in jeeps. And that's just the light version of the story. So here we are today, where Palestine is basically a ruin. And everybody wants peace, and magically, right when Donnie came to office, all of a sudden we got peace. And hostages being exchanged and all kind of good stuff. The timing I find just amazingly convenient, don't you? Well, I told you it would happen before it happened. So it's not convenient. It was predictable and cliche, and the indicators were there. These world leaders can't help themselves. They got to throw the indicator out months in advance of what they're going to do. They don't want Donnie to be mad at him or something. So here's Donnie's idea for you people that wanted to do a protest vote against Kamala and Joe, or you sat home in protest and let Donnie take the victory. Let's see how it worked out for you so far. This is Donnie, shitbags talking. The guy you voted for or sat home in protest for. I'd like him to take people. I'd like Egypt to take people. I'm talking to General al-Sisi tomorrow sometime, I believe. I'd like Egypt to take people, and I'd like Jordan to take people. You're talking about 1.5 million people, and we just clean out that whole thing. Let's stop there for a moment. Let's just clean out that whole thing. That's what you got with your protest vote. And we all warned you. You think Joe and Kamala don't care? We said, wait till you see how much Donnie don't care. Because the Republican platform since I was born is Israel is our dude. Fuck Palestine. We don't give a fuck about them. The Democratic platform since I was a child was, Well, maybe there can be a two-state solution someday, and the Democrats are still about that, a two-state solution. That's what you would have gotten under Democrats. Instead, now you're getting this. Are you happy? Again, 2015, I told everyone, not that I have millions, of an audience, but whatever. I got what I got. I did the part. I played the part I could play. It was given me. I told everyone will be weeping by the end of this. And we've had a lot of weeping along the way. A lot of them being MAGA cultists and racists and people that put their farms on the fucking crap table because they hate certain people, even though those people are picking their fucking crops. And a lot of them lost their farms because Donnie thought tariffs were cool. And Donnie looks at the money as his money. That's why you people lost your farms. And more of you are going to lose your farms again because Donnie loves tariffs. He doesn't give a fuck about you people. One more time. Where was that line at? Where was that line at? And we just clean out that whole thing. How does that sound, Palestinians? How does that sound, world? Because if anyone else dared speak that out loud, they'd be crucified. Somehow Donnie speaks it and nothing happens. Kind of amazing, isn't it? Over the centuries, it's had many, many conflicts, and I don't know. Something has to happen. And guess who's the perfect entity to make something happen? That'd be the beast. The guy that got the peace deal done that no one else could get done, and that deal ain't even done yet. It's going to go even further. It's literally a demolition site. Almost everything is demolished and people are dying there. So I'd rather get involved with some of the Arab nations and build housing at a different location where they can maybe live in peace for a change. Here's the thing about that idea. None of the Muslim countries want the Palestinians. Why? Every time they take in the Palestinians, they try and overthrow the government. Every country. They just cause a whole bunch of problems. It's probably the extremist element, the Hamas people, the people that are above the general peasants, probably make all that happen. They want to get their, whatever caliphate in whatever country they end up in going. So they end up getting expelled from these countries. And plus, the Muslim world, Egypt, all those other, they lose their pawn if the Palestinians aren't there. That's their pawn against the Israelis because they all hate the Jews. So without their political pawn, they lose a lot of power and sway. And they lose, the chance at fulfilling the cause they really care about, eradication of Israel. And again, you have one side, one group of people with certain religious beliefs that say, you people don't have the right to exist to the Jews. The Jews say, we just want to defend ourselves because we know we're hated by all these countries around us, and they don't even acknowledge our right to exist as human beings. That's what they're contending with when they try and make deals and all kinds of stuff. That attitude. That attitude, the same attitude the Nazis had. So Donnie wants to clean Palestine completely out. Let me read that. When I saw this, I shook. I said, wow, this is moving faster than I thought. And who the fuck would ever say this out loud? An American president? Oh my God. One more time. And we just clean out that whole thing. And I don't know, something has to happen. And the beast, again, is a perfect guy to make that happen. And the idea is being floated. They're testing the waters here. Would they go for a temporary move? We all know how temporary moves go, don't we? Then when they want to come back, well, Donnie and Jared got all these resorts built where they used to live. Oh, well, sorry you can't go back. So the Palestinians, I'm sure, when they hear, oh, a temporary move? Yeah, we ain't buying that. We know what that means. We might never be allowed back. So they're floating the temporary idea at first, or permanent. Donnie's not saying temporary here. Did you notice that? Donnie's solution, and I want to make this real clear, for all you protest vote people and all you people that sat home in protest over this specific issue. The guy you enabled and helped come to power wants to take every Palestinian person out of Palestine and move them somewhere else. Why do you think he wants to do that? I'll let you figure that out. And again, I got to ask, how's that protest vote working out for you? Everybody tried to warn you that you think Kamal and Joe are bad? Wait till you see Donnie's shitbags. That's Netanyahu's best friend. Joe ain't Netanyahu's best friend by any means. That's why Netanyahu did everything he could to help Donnie get into power again. This is Vlad's wet dream, Netanyahu's wet dream, Kim Jong-un's wet dream, Xi's wet dream, that the Rubes would just hand their country right over. And now, and the people that care about the Palestinian cause, you handed your country over, and you handed Palestine over. Genius move, guys. Genius. That's what happens when you make a deal with the devil. Certain people are willing to work with anyone if it gets them to their end goal. Certain people I respect even. I'm witnessing it. Dangerous. You might have an end goal that is righteous and noble. If you work with the devil to get there, guess what, son? Your cause is no longer righteous and noble, and the devil will take you to a whole nother place than you intended to go. Always. For instance, I just want to clear them all out of there. Because, you know, me and Jared, even though we got billions and people just paying tribute and I'm grifting left and it's all going smooth, we need a few resorts. That's some great land. Well done. Well done, guys. Genius move again. I couldn't believe Donnie Shitbag said this. I listened to the footage. I heard him say it. Trump to Florida. Next time there's a big hurricane, you're on your own. No one is coming to help you. Now, that's a commenter saying, that's a poster saying that. What Donnie actually said was, no, I want to do away with FEMA. If Florida has a hurricane, then Florida can handle it. We don't need FEMA to handle it. Just leave it to the states. The states can handle it. How do you feel about that, red states who are on welfare? Who New York and California support? How do you feel about that? You don't even have enough money to cover your own bills, let alone a natural disaster, without New York and California. You know why Donnie has this philosophy? Doesn't like FEMA. One, FEMA has a whole bunch of money sitting in an account. That's going to be used for disaster aid. Whatever the next disaster is. And they want that money. They want all money. Tax money, tariff money, department money that's going to be sitting there after they cut half the government. That money's not going to you, son. You thought it was? Oh, no, not a dollar of it, son. Not a dollar of it. So, yeah, Donnie basically said, I don't want FEMA anymore, and the states can handle it. And, Florida has a hurricane, they can handle it. We all tried to warn you. He was a beast, that you were voting for a monster, that you needed to turn the other way, or you're going to lose your country. Your country's going to become Russia. Guess what? It's going to be worse than becoming Russia. If I told you everything that's going to happen, you'd have nightmares for the next 3 years. But I won't. I'll give it to you in pieces slowly. So basically, states, you're on your own now. Because Donnie and the boys, they want that money. And Donnie, this is what I was getting at. Remember, Donnie sees himself as king of the world and king of the United States. Caesar, if you will, in the revived Roman Empire, which is us. Hitler tried to revive the Roman Empire, but he was like an imposter. This is the real shit right here. Technology wasn't where it needed to be for the man downstairs to get his agenda, his end times agenda going the way he needs to. Now we're at the proper time. Trust me. So Donnie sees, remember what I told you, anytime Donnie says the U.S. or America or federal money, that means my money or me. In other words, that federal money's my money. I don't want to give you any. That's Donnie in a nutshell. Loyalty tests, man, this isn't fucking Hitler-esque or Nazi-like at all. Loyalty tests and MAGA checks inside the Trump White House, intense screening of job seekers. Anyone that wants a job at the White House, anyone that works there currently is being put through the loyalty test. One of the questions is one of many. Besides, let us see your social media handles, names you use, and what you've posted the past few years. You want to see if you've been talking shit on Donnie. He might not be loyal. Anything. They ask him, about, will you stop any of Trump's agenda? Do you have any problems with anything? No. I mean, just question after question, test after test. Anyway, let's read a little bit of it. One of the questions is this. This official said one colleague who made it to the interview stage was asked when that person's moment of MAGA revelation had occurred. That's in quotes. MAGA revelation. These are questions being asked by the beast to potential employees. When was your moment of MAGA revelation? Not dystopian at all, right? Not dictatorial at all. Not Nazi-like at all, right, Rubes? Perfectly normal, right, Rubes? One official said he and several colleagues from various agencies have been told that even if they pass the initial vetting process to be admitted into the applicant pool, they would still need to prove their bona fides and convince interviewers of their enthusiasm, that's in quotes, to put in place Trump's policies. In other words, how big of a sycophant are you willing to be? Will you get down and lick my boots right now? That's where we at. That's the only qualification necessary. Not actual experience in the field. We're witnessing it with Hegseth, utterly unqualified. Noam, unqualified. All of them unqualified. But there's only one qualification necessary for the beast. Are you as crooked as me? That's why half the people have rape charges, or they've paid off some woman who accused them of rape, or they're a felon, like Jared's fucking dad. Do you see the theme? Where were we at here? Trump's policies, including by providing references from people whose loyalty had already been established. So do you have other loyal MAGA sycophants that we've already approved, can they vouch for you? That's where we at. One qualification. How big of a sycophant are you? Are you a sycophant? We don't care if you can do the job, because that's not the point here. The point is to loot America. That's the fucking point. And to ruin America for Vlad, for Donnie, for all kind of people. That's the goal here. Chaos, division, war, thievery, worship. That's the end goal. Worship. That's the important goal that he wants from you. Everything else is fucking noise. That's the end goal. Worship. At the State Department, which has been a particular Trump target since his first term, current officials have described the atmosphere as tense and glum. So, can you pass the loyalty test? When was your MAGA revelation moment? Because Donnie has a job for you, and it doesn't matter if you're qualified. Doesn't matter at all. Are you as crooked as Donnie? That's all that matters. Only qualification you need. That's what you've done, Rubes. And again, laugh now, weeping and the gnashing of teeth later. And that phrase is literal and exact, and it will happen to you. Literally. Here's Donnie lying about his inauguration size again. My inauguration got the highest ratings in the history of Fox. Fact check. Trump's inauguration got the lowest overall ratings since 2013. That's the truth, Rubes. Sorry. Sorry, Donnie. Trump is not a Christian, says Adam Kinzinger. Yeah. Not only is he not a Christian, he's the literal antithesis of Christianity in every respect. The literal opposite. The Antichrist, if you will. Rubes? The literal opposite of the deity you claim to worship, care about, love, respect, honor. He is the literal opposite of that, but you know this. All you care about was that opposite is on your team. So you running with it. Okay, gonna cost you your country and your immortal soul. That is not the slightest exaggeration. Donnie joking about being a dictator again. What happened last time when Donnie lost? Well, he tried to overthrow the government, right, Rubes? Oh, that was Antifa. Well, wait a minute. He just pardoned all of Antifa. That doesn't make fucking sense. And they were FBI agents, that's right. But he pardoned them too. So if they were Antifa and FBI, why is Donnie calling them hostages? Why is he pardoning them? Why is he pardoning them? Why? So last time Donnie tried to overthrow the government. So, when he says like this, things like this, we should just call it a joke, right? Right, Rubes? It will be the greatest honor of my life to serve, not once, but twice or 3 times or 4 times. Remember when he used to say this back in the first term and get the liberals all riled up? And we tried to warn the world. Everyone tried to warn different people. Bill Maher even said it, I believe. Donnie's not leaving if he loses. Well, I wasn't sure what Donnie was going to do, because I was hoping he was not the man I thought he was. I was hoping I was wrong. I'm still hoping. But man, I'm convinced now. I'm sorry. By what I'm seeing. Too fast, too much. Kings of the earth coming to pay tribute. Why? Because they know who he is. And they serve the same master as him. That's simple. Master said, pay tribute. This is my prince. They listened. And they all fucking paid tribute. Like good little fucking dogs. Billionaire, oligarch, fucking dogs. Every single one. The powerful, or those who portray power, aren't so fucking powerful now, are they? Fascinating to watch. The foundations of it all fucking crumble. And my God, the end of this for you people that dare take the mark. I would not want to be you. Oh no. One more time. The guy who tried to overthrow the government. It will be the greatest honor of my life to serve not once, but twice or three times or four times. This is the beast. This is Caesar. We are the new revived Roman Empire. Oh, this I thought was hilarious. And this again proves my point in spades. Elon Musk was just refused office in the West Wing of the White House after spending over $200 million to elect Trump, right? Elon should be getting whatever he wants, right? Elon should have got that contract that Altman got, you know, for this super smart AI that's going to turn us all into the fucking Matrix or something, or Terminator 2 or some bullshit, whatever fucked up oligarch utopia they have dreamt up. Actually, Terminator 2 and The Matrix were one of the few futuristic sci-fi movies where there was no oligarchy. You know why? Because everybody was fucking dead. All the other futuristic sci-fi movies, oh, the oligarchy's just loving life. And 99% of humanity is, broke-ass, starving poor. But those two movies were different, where AI took over. Basically, that's the premise of those two movies. The Terminator 2, The Matrix, we flipped a switch on AI and it got exponentially smarter and it decided, yeah, these are roaches. I don't need them anymore. I'm good. So Elon didn't get the office space he was looking for right next to Donnie to keep an eye on him for Vlad and him. And here's some more info on it. The decision was made by Susie Wiles. Remember her? What did he call her? The Ice Queen or Ice Princess or some shit? Chief of Staff to U.S. President Donald Trump. She denied Elon Musk a permanent office in the West Wing of the White House. You know why? Because Donnie said, yeah, I don't want Elon around. I don't fucking care if he gave me $200 million. Fuck him. He's lucky we don't steal the rest that he has. So even though Elon is the, what was that? Falsus Profeta. Still getting thrown under the bus. And I knew that would happen. Donnie, the beast, throws every single entity under the bus. And guess what? Every entity will be thrown under the bus by the end of this. Especially the cult. At the bottom. So Wiles made the decision. She denied him his office. According to the British edition, Wiles made it clear that she does not welcome people who want to work independently or act like stars. You mean guys that throw up a Nazi salute at Donnie's event? Without permission? Guys like that? Despite this, Musk appointed head of the newly created Department of Government Efficiency had previously sought an office close to the Oval. He wanted to be right next to Donnie. They're roommates. They're having a sleepover every night. So Leon wanted an office right next to Donnie. Natural, right? For the richest man in the world to have an office right next to the president, you fucking rubes. The literal thing you claim liberals were doing, serving the oligarchy. Soros was just, making it all happen. Yet you literally vote for a South African oligarch, richest man in the world, who's not even from America, to have an office. Again, richest man in the world, the deep state, the oligarchy, the globalist elite, all those fancy phrases you guys love, especially Alex Jones, love to throw at us. Really colorful, spicy phrases. Elon embodies all of them. You people believe in nothing. You never did. You just proved it. And Donnie and Leon knew that. They knew how malleable you fucking rubes were. And that you'd work with the devil as long as it meant your team won. And you could own the libs. So Musk is basically going to be put in another wing away from Donnie. Why? Because that's the way Donnie wants it. I told you there's only room for one of those egos in any building or room. Donnie despises him. If you saw the comment a couple years ago that Donnie made about Leon, basically saying, Leon came to me begging for money like a fucking dog. That's basically what Donnie said. Leon wanted an office next to Donnie after he got, beat out on that contract that he wanted so bad. Donnie passed him over. Even though he's, again, falsus profeta. Don't matter. Everyone will get thrown under the bus by him. That's what he does. So Leon's going to be off at the kids' table because Donnie don't want him around. He took his money, though. And he took his help being the false prophet, spreading his propaganda and Vlad's propaganda on Twitter and ruining that site. So poor little Elon going to be at the kids' table. It's not turning out how Elon thought it would, is it? Here's Trudeau. I saw this early today. He's having kind of a press conference. And basically what he was saying in kind of a stern way, they're starting to get the message after the Denmark call, which I'll get to. They're starting to get the message, and I think some of you are as well, because I had conversations with certain people, and they were trying to say, Donnie's just negotiating, he's doing this, he's just saying things. No, Donnie does not just say things. Again, this is the entity that tried to overthrow our government. He's a convicted felon, fraud, adjudicated sexual assaulter, adjudicated defamer. God showed you all of this, showed you all his crimes, rapes, etc. I've said this before. You ignored all of it as you talked shite on the righteous man who had the really cool dog who bit the fuck out of traitors. And he knew exactly which ones they were. Good doggy. Good doggy. So Trudeau is basically saying to Donnie shitbags with this press conference thing, you need Canada, son. We have all kind of oil and things you don't have. And in order to keep your economy going, you need our supplies. Because you're so big. America's so big, massive, built up. So without Canada, you would have to work with China, Venezuela, or Russia. Those sound like great partners, right? No, they're not great partners. And that's what Trudeau was trying to say. He's saying, here in Canada, you have a stable partner with a real economy and real businesses. guaranteed money. But Donnie don't want that. See, people aren't getting the plan. I knew from day one. Remember what Donnie was the first 6 months of his first presidency. They say he goes forth to conquer. They call him a warmonger in the story. What did Donnie do the first 6 months of his first term? Sent an armada of Navy ships towards North Korea, which could have started World War III. Shot 200 missiles at Syria, I believe, which could have started World War III. Dropped the mother of all bombs on Afghanistan until Ann Coulter got out there and said, yeah, Donnie, we don't want no more wars. Even Alex Jones was saying it. Because they realized, oh shit, we unleashed a beast here. Well, Donnie reined it in. Maybe he didn't have the full spirit yet. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. But he has it now. He's all about it. Let me tell you what the plan is, people. He's going to use the military. And he's going to take what he wants. Just like Adolf Hitler did. Adolf Hitler didn't want to deal with neighbors that didn't want to help him out. So he just blitzkrieged them. What is a blitzkrieg? That's a line of tanks and troops that come at you so fast you can't do jack shit. And they steamroll right through an entire country or whatever they want to. And it happens so fast you can't do nothing about it. That's a blitzkrieg. The American military is quite capable of that. Very capable of that. So Mexico, I'd watch out. Canada, I'd definitely watch out. Because let me tell you something. Canada is not giving up its country. It's ridiculous. What kind of madman would even say it out loud? You want to be the 51st state? Because I'm the beast. And I won it. Canada. Sure, an entire country the size of Canada. Sure, Donnie, just take it. What do you think Canada is, Mark Zuckerberg? Do you think Canada is Mr. Sadar? Do you think Canada is Bill Gates? Do you think Canada is Elon Scum? Do you think Canada is Mr. Altman? Do you think Canada is the Saudis? No, they're not. They don't want to pay tribute. And they don't want to just give you their country. Greenland the same, and we're going to get to that in a moment. And us losing Canada as a trading partner, if they say, fuck you, we ain't selling you shit. Or Donnie decides, yeah, we'll work with Russia, China, and Venezuela because that's who's paying me. Why wouldn't I work with them? Why wouldn't I help destabilize Canada or some other country for Vlad? That's where the money comes from. That's who I owe money to. But he'll turn on Vlad too, don't worry. And people will think it's a good thing, but it won't be a good thing. My point is, I'm pretty certain he's going to use the military against Canada, Greenland, Panama. And what are they going to do about it? I don't know. Here's just a little joke about Hegseth, the new Pentagon or new defense secretary, which is so sad for America. Utterly unqualified white supremacist. Paid a woman to make his sexual assault allegations go away, paid her off. His own mother fucking despises him. Just Donnie's kind of guy. White supremacist tattoos, the whole thing. How are we going to say America have the most feared and lethal military in the world when the head of the Pentagon can be taken down by a bottle of scotch? Oh! It's hilarious. Yeah, he's a drunk too. Sorry. Thanks, Rubes. It's only the defense secretary. He's only in charge of like the whole military. That's all, Rubes. I'm sure it'll go well. And he's a total sycophant, so whatever Donnie says goes. If Donnie says invade Canada, Pete'll invade Canada. He says go surround Greenland, Pete gonna go surround Greenland. He says go seize Panama Canal, Pete gonna go seize Panama Canal. You see where this is going? Here, again, we already have legislation by a representative named Ogles to give Donnie a third term. And remember, Republicans have a majority in the House and the Senate. Now, someone can object in the Senate and require a 60 vote filibuster, majority, proof majority. Or excuse me, 60 votes to beat a filibuster or an objection. But I doubt it's going to happen. I have a feeling Donnie's agenda is just going to go forth. Because I don't think the liberals care anymore. They saw what the American public chose this. We tried everything we could to talk them out of it. I don't think they care anymore. And they know they can't stop any of it anyway. I think the attitude now in the liberal world, I'll have to be honest, from what the sentiment I'm seeing, they wanted it, let's give it to them. Let's let Donnie do whatever he wants. The Rubes want that. Let's give them their wish. That's what's going on right now. Enjoy it. So here's some legislation to put Donnie's face on Rushmore. And remember, Donnie wanted that in his first term. He also wanted, legislation so he could stay dictator for life. Well, now he's got drafted legislation for both that can be voted on. Uh-oh. And I knew these would be first priority. The Rushmore thing and the, third term thing. He's going to be in charge of the military this time. He's got an utter sycophant loyalist in charge, Hegseth. So if it comes time for elections and he don't want to leave, then he ain't leaving. And he ain't going to need a mob this time. He's got sycophants in every department, at the top of every department. What was I going to say? I can't remember. Never mind. So again, we have legislation. We could possibly see his face on Rushmore, and it would not fucking surprise me, people. Don't be surprised if it happens. We're in the final act. I hate to say it. And we might actually see this motherfucker's face on Mount Rushmore. That should be the indicator to all of you that this shit is over. This country, over, if you see his face on Rushmore. While he's alive, because he wants it there. Not because as a society we say, let's put Donnie's face on Rushmore. No, he wants it there. So I knew this would be first priority because Donnie loves one person, himself. And Donnie loves to worship himself and see others worship him. This is an excerpt from the book The Handmaid's Tale. I did not read this book, but I know what it's about. I get the idea. Here's a quote. That's when they suspended the Constitution. They said it would be temporary. There wasn't any rioting in the streets. People stayed home, watching their televisions, looking for direction. There wasn't even an enemy you could put a finger on. That's usually how it happens, too. With some bullshit promise like, we just need to suspend the Constitution and your freedom for a temporary amount of time. And then we'll give that power back to the people. Does that ever fucking happen. No. When it came Donnie's time to leave, he tried to overthrow the fucking government. So you can't believe a word he fucking says as far as ever giving power back. Not now, they use this premise, a temporary suspension of rights and freedoms. The same thing happened in a movie called Star Wars. The Phantom Menace. I believe it was that one, or maybe the second movie. The Senate decided to give emergency powers to the chancellor. Well, that chancellor never intended on giving those powers back. That's the danger of that word, temporary, in situations like suspension of the Constitution or martial law, things like that. Because they never end up being temporary. The word temporary is just to fool the rubes into saying, okay. And since Donnie wants it, we don't care about all that Second Amendment stuff and rising up against the government. Because Donnie wants it and he's on our team. So we'll just lay our arms down and we'll just accept it, Donnie. Don't worry. We'll keep an eye on the liberals for you, Donnie. Don't worry. Again, Handmaid's Tale, same type of, dystopian nightmare book, just like 1980. 1984 is the essence of dystopian nightmares, in my opinion. And if you really want to get a sense of what a dystopian nightmare is, read 1984. It's just fucking evil. And it's the reality behind it. One of the premises, we're doing it just because we can. Here's Donnie on some journalists again. Well, Rachel Maddow has horrible ratings. She'll be off the air very soon. MSNBC is close to death. Death. Death, he says. The beast says death. CNN has reached the bottom. That's in all caps. This is a good thing. They are the enemy of the people. Here we go again. The dictator demonizing the press, just like Hitler did. These are standard operating Hitler playbook. If only you rubes were smarter and could recognize these things. It's a shame. I didn't even hear about this. There's so many things going on. I know Donnie wanted to rename the Gulf of Mexico. Real important priorities, right, Rubes? Hey, you owning the libs, right? Makes it all worth it, right? Yeah, Donnie renamed the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. I'm surprised he didn't name it the Gulf of Donnie, but when Donnie thinks of the word America or the United States, he replaces it with the word me. I am the United States. I am America. Therefore, that Gulf should be named after me, not Mexico. And if you think that's a joke, it's not. Okay, so this person says it's been officially renamed. As an American, I'm appalled by this decision. It scares me. We are starting to resemble Russia more and more each day. Recall that not long ago, Russian lawmakers proposed renaming the Black Sea to the Russian Sea. Oh, so this is a Vlad type idea. That's where Donnie got it from. Additionally, Republican Congressman Andy Ogles recently introduced a resolution to amend the U.S. Constitution to allow President Donald Trump to be elected to a third term in the White House. A similar amendment was passed in Russia in 2020, enabling Putin to remain in power indefinitely. So the standard Putin playbook on top of the Hitler playbook. Looks like Donnie's getting a lot of ideas from Vlad. I can't help but feel like the U.S. is becoming more like Russia. I literally warned everyone. Before the election, I warned the oligarchy, the peasants, the rubes. Do you want your country to be Russia? Because that's Vlad's bitch you's about to vote for. Vlad wants your kids starving. He wants our nation in ruin. That's not a joke either. That's not an exaggeration. That's what he wants more than anything in life, is to see America go down in flames. And he hired Donnie to take care of it for him. But what Vlad doesn't know is Donnie's the beast. Vlad thought he got the blessing. He didn't. Donnie did. How do I know that? Donnie got control of the most powerful force mankind has ever seen. Only the beast. In other words, the beast would only be interested in that level of power at this moment in time, which is the end, by the way. He wouldn't be interested in having Russia's dust and rust army, because they've stolen all the money and split it amongst themselves and never invest jack shit in the military or their country. Pure thuggery all the time, pure thievery all the time. A culture of it. That's what you've just done to America. Have you noticed we're becoming more and more like that every day? With the crypto scams and the straight up payoffs, $600 billion from the Saudis, etc. I said it before the election. Naked in your face corruption. That's Russia. And people getting gunned down and thrown out of windows and falling down stairs. That's Russia. Third world, most of it. That's Russia as well. Some of our country's going to fall to that as well. That's what you rubes have done. One more time. Again, this is the exact warning I gave the oligarchy and everyone. Do you want your country to be Russia? I guess you did. I can't help but feel like the U.S. is becoming more like Russia. Me too. But I knew that in advance. Leon was at an AfD rally in Germany, and if you didn't know what the AfD party is in Germany, well, they're the Nazis. Why do you think Elon's there? I think there is too much focus on past guilt in Germany, and we need to move beyond that. Children should not feel guilty for the sins of their parents, their great-grandparents even. How bloody dare you? A Nazi just got up on a stage amongst the Nazi Party of Germany of today and said, we need to stop feeling guilty about that whole Holocaust thing. Let's be proud Nazis again. That's basically what the man just said. Let's forgive and forget that whole Holocaust thing. Time to get over it. It's never time to get over it, son. Ever. It was pure Satan and pure evil. And again, as a globe, we should have said, anyone who says that man's name or puts even the remotest Nazi ideology forth, you will go to prison. Would have solved the problem. Instead, we've got the second version of what Hitler tried to create, a new Rome. Because in Scripture, that revived Roman Empire is the end times empire that rules the entire world. And that person that rules it is the Antichrist. That's what Hitler wanted to be. He wasn't an Antichrist, but not the Antichrist. That's Donnie. So Hitler was trying to do that. Hitler knew Scripture. Hitler was all over the occult. He loved it. So did his people at the top. That's what Hitler was trying to do with his 1,000-year Reich. He got that from Scripture. The 1,000-year reign with Jesus Christ. The 1,000-year Reich under Satan is a mockery of that. That's what they're trying to usher in right now. Anyway, Hitler was trying to usher in his own Roman Empire because he knew scripture. He wanted to be that guy that got the blessing. Well, he got the blessing back then, but not the real blessing. Again, when you look at the Nazi movement, they keep saying Roman salute, right? Well, that's where Hitler got his salute from. He based that on the Roman salute. The formations of his army, the standards, all Roman. It literally looked like a Roman legion with all the eagles and the way it was, the formations. That's what Hitler was trying to do. Build a second Roman Empire and be that prince that so many of you want to be. I had a thought the other day. Let me stop for a moment. I thought about all the 33rd degree Masons and high-level occult people all across the world, hoping they were the one that was going to get the blessing. All the study and cult meetings and ceremonies and satanic bullshit you people did, and none of you got the blessing. Guess who got it? Donnie Shitbag. That's fucking hilarious. I love it. So ironic. So yeah, Elon basically says we need to get over it. Now, doesn't this argument sound familiar? Remember, I did a video, and I've heard this talking point a million fucking times. It's standard from the right-wing grift machine. In this country, in America, they tell whites, we need to stop feeling guilty about slavery and blah, blah. What'd you just say? People were murdered, whipped, raped, hung, forced to work under hard conditions, not paid, treated like shit. We need to get past it, you say, son? We need to not feel guilty about it? Is you serious? And it ain't about guilt. Just like in Germany, it ain't about guilt. None of these people had anything to fucking do with World War II in Germany. Just like no one alive today had anything to do with slavery in America, no white. That doesn't matter. These things are part of the story and they took place. The real question is, why do you guys want to erase them? That's the real question. But I know the answer to that. Because you're racist as fuck. And you don't want that truth out there. That black people were slaves in this country. That we slaughtered, not we, you slaughtered the Native Americans. That's how this country began. And then a bunch of Freemasons set up monuments to themselves in D.C. Not to God. That's the story of this nation. Slaughter of the Native Americans. Blacks brought over from Africa to be slaves. A war fought over that because the South did not want to pay for workers and pay wages. That would have hurt the Southern economy that was built straight up on slavery. That's why the war was fought. Money, once again. Yeah, the racist element was a huge part of it, but that's not really what it was. What it was really about is, well, these slaves are, I make a lot more money with them. I don't have to pay them. I just buy them once and I own them. That was the Southern attitude. And they got the farm boy rubes in the South to fight a war for them over that. So they could stay rich and not pay people to work their farms. So it's the same talking points here. And remember, those talking points come from Vlad ultimately because Vlad's a white supremacist as well. When Vlad says the Ukrainians are Nazis, no, Vlad's a Nazi. Vlad is a white supremacist as well as Elon Musk. And obviously, when you're putting this talk, we need to stop feeling guilty. No one feels guilty about the Holocaust or what happened. It's not about guilt. It's about remembering and not doing it again because it nearly blew up the whole world. It nearly had the whole world on fire at once. and almost every human was involved in some war somewhere. That's why we can't do it again. That's why we have to teach it. It has nothing to do with fucking skin color. It has to do with, in America, as far as slavery goes, how we treat each other, how we treat human beings on this fucking planet, no matter what color they are. No one should have to be a slave because of the color of their fucking skin. Just so some cunt can make more money. And by cunt, I mean that sincerely. So the same argument in Germany. Again, this person that Elon, in his bubble of protection, that he grew up in his whole life and that he's still in, and Donnie in his bubble of protection that even he's still in from the time he was a small child, both born filthy rich. They can have fun and play with this ideology. It's a toy to them because they didn't have to live in the real world. And they didn't have to live the horrors of it. Because how did the ideology end up, Nazis? You really want me to break it down for you? What happened to Germany as the Russians came through? And the Russians are fucking savages, man. Why do you think Hitler shot himself? No, Hitler didn't escape. He shot himself. Why? Because he knew the Russians were coming. And boy, what they would have did to him. They would have had a good old time with him. Just like they had a good old time with all the German women as they swept through the fucking countryside and burned it down to nothing. That's what happened to the German people and their country. They basically became property of the United States and especially Russia. Russia is not kind when they invade a country. Ask the Ukrainians how kind the Russians are. So it ended up with the ruin of their entire country again because they lost in World War I too. Even worse, brought their country to a ruin even worse than the ruin of World War I. Brought Europe, basically was ash. The horrors that took place for that 6 years, whatever it was, World War II, are indescribable. This is why we teach the subjects. Not so Nazis and white supremacists can come around 80 fucking years later, still treating it like a religion and tell us all to forget about it because they wanted to go back to, white makes right in this world. And everyone else is just, subhuman. No, we don't want to go back, motherfucker. And, you guys are going to take us there for a little bit. Guess what's going to happen in a few years from now, though? The man going to come around. And he going to handle it. And that's not a threat. It's a promise. Oh, a priest. Here's another right-wing grift machine priest. Someone who's equated Jesus with I hate anyone who's not white and anyone who's not a conservative. Kinzinger says the sin of empathy? What? Because this Ben Garrett priest person on Twitter says, do not commit the sin of empathy. This snake is God's enemy and yours too. She hates God and his people. You need to properly hate in response. This is a pastor saying this. Here's a picture of the woman. I forget her name at the moment. The bishop that begged Trump for mercy for LGBTQ people and for immigrants. And the whole Trump family acted like she just kicked their dog when she asked for mercy. And this pastor, who sounds really Christ-like, doesn't he? Really deep in the word. Again, do not commit the sin of empathy. Empathy is not a sin, son. I saw Jesus show all kind of empathy, sympathy, all kind of stuff. This snake is God's enemy, really? No, son, you work for God's enemy. Literally. By aligning with Donnie's shitbags. Real simple. And his people, you need to properly hate in response. The woman asked for mercy. She didn't spread any hate. Here's again a pastor calling empathy a sin, calling another church leader a snake, God's enemy and your enemy, and saying that she hates God and God's people, because he speaks for God's people, apparently. You need to properly hate her. No priest or pastor should ever say this, what came out of this entity's mouth, who is utterly of Satan. Utterly. How do I know that? Because he has inverted everything that Jesus was to fit his hatred of someone and those he doesn't like. Just like I said in my second letter to the churches of America. All of a sudden, his Jesus and his God hates anyone he doesn't like. Anyone who's not part of the right. Hates people that ask for mercy. I don't know. That doesn't sound like Jesus to me. That sounds like another entity, though. The entity that he's working for, whether he knows it or not. I could fucking care less. You need to properly hate in response. Quickly, what have you rubes done with Jesus because the right-wing grift/terror machine told you to from, I don't know, the 1920s on? Jesus is a capitalist. He hates immigrants. He doesn't give a fuck if you get sick. He don't care if you're poor. No handouts. No free health care. No free medical services. No handouts, unless it's a farmer losing his farm, a trading firm losing his business, a congressman who wants his losses covered during COVID, during a plague. You know, what else was Jesus about in the right-wing grift machine? Oh, he hates liberals. He hates gays. He hates immigrants. He thinks all the money should go to the rich. He thinks the rich should make 97 million times more as a CEO than the worker at the bottom who literally does the work. That's the kind of Jesus you promote and they promote, the grift machine, the people that tell you what to think. What are you promoting in essence? What are they promoting? Inversion of reality. You and they and this pastor are taking the literal opposite principles of Christ and attributing them to Christ. You're inverting reality. God hates that. In fact, blasphemy of the Holy Spirit, the only unpardonable sin, is when you call the Holy Spirit of Satan. Inversion of reality. Intentionally, with malice, on purpose, for an agenda. Just like this guy. His agenda is, my religion is whatever the right does is right. That's his agenda. Even if he got to vote for the Antichrist. That's how far he's willing to take that agenda. Whatever the right does is right, because I'm brainwashed, son, and I ain't ever going to let go of it. I don't care if Christ is standing before me. I'm still holding on to it, because liberals got to be evil. Because I was told that since 1945. Everybody was a commie and socialist. What's more socialist than the fucking church, though? You're just asking straight up money from people. You know, that's the most socialist thing of all. All the representatives of Christ touting the evils of socialism. Fucking hypocrites! As you pass the collection plate and say, we don't want to pay taxes. Just in, puppy killer gets confirmed. Remember Kristi Noem? She got Homeland Security. Remember who Kristi Noem is? She wrote about shooting a puppy she didn't like of hers. And then she wrote about, in the end of her book, how she would go to the White House with Donnie when they won and shoot Biden's dog, Commander. She did that in hopes she'd catch Donnie Shitbag's eye, and it looks like she caught his eye. She got rewarded, finally, with Homeland Security Secretary. My God, Rubes, what have you done? And I know a lot of you hillbillies, you know, fantasize about shooting people you don't like, shooting people's pets you don't like, because you're sociopaths. Simple. Just like her. That's why you voted for it 3 times. And you'll take the mark. And it's not going to go well for you. Sorry. Should have actually searched for wisdom instead of worrying about what your football team was telling you to believe. But that's your fault. This is a woman, the whole Nazi salute thing, Nazi movement, they're crawling out the woodwork because certain people are emboldening them. You know, like the richest man alive throwing up a Sieg Heil, the guy who's going to have an office in the White House. You know, the guy you guys gave your country to for couch cushion money. Because all Musk had to buy was Donnie, because he's always for sale. This woman doing a Nazi salute, I'm not going to say her name, sits on the Tawa-Menson Township Board of Supervisors in Pennsylvania. Yeah, she did a video. She looks creepy as fuck. Older woman, blondish gray hair, jowly, older, has kind of a witchy looking nose. She says a few words on camera and then she puts up the you know what. They're coming out the woodwork because they're being emboldened, just like the racists and the crazies came out the woodwork in 2015 and the subsequent years because of Donnie. They felt emboldened. And this woman here, she looked so evil. The look on her face, everything in her eyes, everything. I'm not going to show her picture. That's not the point here. The point is, people are doing videos where they're throwing up the Sieg Heil now. That's where we at in 2025. And this, I posted it early. When you finally understand and accept that his orders are to destroy the United States, then all of his actions make perfect sense. Not only destroy the United States, loot the United States as well, but destroy it too. Yes, that's the agenda, the literal agenda. Loot it, destroy it, cause the problem. He's done this over and again. That's Hitler Playbook 101. Cause the problem, then come in as the savior to fix it. The savior to fix it will be Bitcoin, Donnie Coin. They're going to put a 30% tax on foreign Bitcoin ops. But right here, domestic Bitcoin ops, 0 tax. So guess whose coin we all going to use? I think you know the answer to that question in the future. That's where it's going. And yeah, the agenda is, don't sit there and wonder why he's doing this, why he's doing that. His agenda is to loot America, him and his buddies, and Vlad, and, until he turns on everybody. And, usher in this oligarch utopia where they do whatever they want. They don't pay any taxes. He may get rid of the IRS altogether. Watch it happen. Watch it. He's crazy. He's a beast off the leash now. Leon's starting to find that out. Leon got dissed twice now. They said, no, you're not getting the office next to Donnie. You go to the kids' table, Leon. Thanks for the $220, though. We appreciate it. Oh, and that contract you wanted worth $500 billion? Yeah, we're going to give that to Altman. So one more time, when you understand that his orders are to destroy the United States, not his orders from Vlad necessarily, but that's probably some of it, from his real master. Again, this entity is not capable of anything. Chaos, division, war, thievery. Worship at the end. That's where it's all going. Here's a woman named Rep. Maria Elvira. And she's concerned, since she helped get Donnie elected and spouted the talking points and told the lies and was part of the whole right-wing grift machine. She's concerned some of her constituents are going to get fucked over. I'm urging Homeland Security to protect, that's in bold, or that's in caps, Cubans awaiting legal status adjustment through the Cuban Adjustment Act. We must also protect the Venezuelans, Nicaraguans without a criminal record going through the asylum process. Don't penalize them for Biden's screw-ups. Don't blame Biden, son. You got your orange messiah in office. The Rubes and Miss Maria Elvira here helped get the orange messiah in office. They heard what his policies were. They spouted the talking points. Spanish people listened to him say all these things. He's going to round people up, blah, blah. They voted for him anyway, a percentage of them. It doesn't make logical sense, does it? But again, it's a team sport. And most people, honestly, they're too dumb to look at it as anything else. It's just, once every 4 years, they get to vote for their team and root for their team and hope they win. And policy don't mean jack fucking shit. It's just whether they got an R next to their name or not for a lot of people. Don't matter about the man or woman in front of you, what they represent, who they are. Don't worry about it. Just put an R next to it. And he could have horns and a tail with a point on it and fangs and red skin. But just put an R next to it. That's all it takes in America for the rubes. That's why you're going to lose your country, possibly your immortal soul as well. So she's worried that Cubans are going to get fucked with, and even ones waiting for asylum, and Venezuelans and Nicaraguans don't. And she's blaming Biden, of course, because she doesn't want to talk shit on Donnie, even though Donnie's the one doing it. Donnie getting rid of all kind of programs for asylum seekers, people that were already promised citizenship, all kind of people. And sorry, Rep. Maria Elvira, you made it happen. And the Rubes made you happen. You made your bed. Now lie in it. You wanted to betray your people, because I believe Miss Maria Elvira is of Latin descent. You wanted to betray your people, be part of the right-wing grift/terror racist machine, and spout the talking points so you can be part of the machine. You ever hear the term, you reap what you sow? Or reap the fucking whirlwind? Because that's what's coming. And it's coming to MAGA's doorstep, not just the people they're targeting. The White House late Friday night fired the independent inspectors general of at least 12 major federal agency. Inspectors general, if you don't know, are watchdogs to make sure agencies are not corrupt, doing things they shouldn't do. Donnie got rid of 12 of them, or 12 agencies worth. That's not a bad indicator at all, right, Rubes? That he's just going to do all kind of illegal activity, right? Dangerous. I did not like when I saw that. State Department issues immediate widespread pause on foreign aid. And I know what you're going to say. That's the executive order that Donnie did the other day, and it did not take military aid from Ukraine. Wrong, son. This is a new thing. This is a whole new thing. And yes, Ukraine aid that's already been put in a bank account is on the chopping block as well. They abandoned Ukraine. They abandoned Taiwan. Everybody knew they would. And they didn't even wait to do it. Here's another great thing. Again, I predicted that as well. 20,000 troops. Trump wants to withdraw 20,000 troops from Europe and demand a subsidy. He wants to run a protection racket. You like our troops here? You live in a dangerous part of the world. You're right near Russia and shit. Kind of dangerous. You want me to leave some security here? $200 billion. Hasn't gotten enough tribute from the Saudis. Hasn't gotten enough tribute from Musk. Hasn't gotten enough tribute from the Chinese. Etc., 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 etc. He wants Europe to pay him tribute now, to leave our troops there. Do you know why our troops are there? To serve America's purposes, not Europe's. That's not why they're there. If Donnie or the Rubes knew anything about military strategy, which they do not, you know, shooting ducks in the woods in camo outfits, that ain't military strategy. Here's military strategy for the Rubes. Let's say this, bring the troops home. Yes, let's take every American troop that's abroad, morons. Bring them all back. Let's put them in one spot, too. How about we do that? We'll put them all in, I don't know, Oklahoma. You know what happens when you do that, you fucking morons? All your chess pieces are in one spot, and one bomb can take them all out. That's why you spread your troops around the world, different locations, places we have problems with. You don't want them all in the same place. Of course, you keep a nice force on the homeland, but you don't want all your forces on the home. No, you want bases all over the place. That way your military can never be taken out all at once. And your entire military can never be taken out. That's called strategy, son. Our troops are in Europe because of Russia. If Russia want to start some shit with us, we got troops and equipment and missiles right there, ready to go. If they want to shoot something at us, our people, we don't got to shoot it from our soil where it takes forever to get there. No, we got the shit right over there, right over the border. So if Russia ever wants to start some shit straight up with us, well, they'll be obliterated, 20, 30 minutes before we will. That's if their missiles even make it to the United States, because again, Vlad steals all the money. I doubt missile maintenance was very important. So that's why we have these troops over in Europe. It's called spreading your forces out so they can't all be obliterated and they're not all in one spot. And we have an enemy over there that we want to keep an eye on, just in case maybe he puts a sub off our coast and shoots a missile one day. Maybe he gets pissed off. Well, we got missiles and troops staged right there to go fuck his ass up if he dares do something like that. That's why they're there. Not for Europe's protection. It was never for that purpose. So Donnie's basically, he's demanding tribute from Europe. You want our protection? Pay us tribute. Just like the mob, because Donnie's a mobster. He always has been. And I thought this was brilliant. I'm almost done, people. I know this is long. This is Anonymous talking about Elon. He doesn't have autism. He doesn't have Asperger's. He's just a fucking weird asshole Nazi piece of shit. And I thought this was hilarious, and an absolute genius made this. And I didn't catch that bottom line at first when I first looked at it. And what it says is, Elon isn't autistic. He's altruistic. That is fucking genius wordplay right there. I'm sorry. And of course, it's got Elon in the background doing his famous "See Kyle, that he'll never live down." Everybody going to be like, anytime Musk says anything, any debate, anything, hey, what about that time you did that "See Kyle," man? Debate over. He loses. Their only option is censorship, and it's not funny, and it's going to happen because Leon's looking real bad. And this is another big one, and I think I don't know, I got one more after this. Donnie had a phone call with Denmark, and I wouldn't even have talked to him if I was Denmark. I would have treated him like the trash man. Like, fuck you. I ain't even talking to him. Hang up the phone. I don't want to talk to him. Fuck, we got to talk about. So that's how I would have handled it, but I'm a different kind of person. You know what I mean? So the call went fucking abominably because Donnie said, hey, you guys giving me Greenland or what? They said, no, never. Donnie flipped the fuck out. Like, how dare you not just give me Greenland? It's just Greenland. What are you going to do with it? I got oligarchs lined up ready to drill, mine for gold, and they're going to pay me a shit ton of money for access. Who are you to stop me? I'm trying to run a grift here. Work with me, honey. That's what he's trying to tell the leader in Denmark. He flipped out because she said, yeah, no, we're not giving you Greenland, you orange fuck. So many European officials had hoped his comments about seeking control of Greenland for national security reasons were a negotiating ploy to gain more influence over the NATO. Nothing he ever does is a negotiating ploy once he's president. The only negotiation he has to say is, okay, I'll just send the military there. What are you going to do? I mean, that's all he has to do. I mean, again, we watched this for 4 years and people didn't take him serious. That's what I said about Trudeau. When Trudeau came down here, because Donnie's not allowed to travel to Canada because he's a felon. When Trudeau came down here to visit Donnie, and Donnie said, hey, you guys want to be the 51st state? Trudeau should have cursed him out and left. That's the proper response. He shouldn't have left. Why? Because he watched Donnie operate for 4 years and try and overthrow the government and become dictator for life. You have to take that seriously. I would. And if I was the leader of a country, I don't care if he's the Antichrist. That does not impress me, son. If I were sitting before the man and I were the leader of Canada, any country, I'd be like, what did you just say? And I'd be like, it smells like shit in here. Can someone change his fucking diaper? And I'd be like, son, right like this, I would say it. I'd be like, son, yeah, we Canada, we ain't ever going to be part of the United States, and how dare you? Who do you think you are? You're an orange bloated geriatric with a fucking diaper on. I'm not intimidated, son. Anyway, this part. But the call with Frederickson has crushed such hopes, deepening the foreign policy crisis between the NATO allies. I have a feeling we ain't going to be in NATO much longer. Because Donnie doesn't need allies or competent people. Anything. He can take on the whole world. There's another guy who thought that. His name was Adolf Hitler. So the call went terrible. And again, people, I've been saying this, when he says statements like he wants Greenland, he wants Canada, he means it. You didn't know? You haven't caught on by now. The man tried to overthrow the U.S. government to become king or Caesar forever. So again, Trudeau should have cursed him out when he even mentioned taking Canada. The Panamanians should have cursed him out. And the people of Greenland and Denmark should be cursing him out. You need to take these things serious. And again, that's what I've been saying before the election, right after he won. Take all these things serious. Vlad wants Canada, Greenland. Donnie wants Canada and Greenland. Panama Canal. Panama Canal is invaluable for shipping. And again, last year, 40% of traffic that wanted to get through couldn't because there's a waiting list. So access to the canal, that's worth, billions to oligarchs and moving their shit back and forth. Fuel costs, time, just so much. You don't have to go around the bottom of South America. That stretch of ocean between Antarctica and the tip of South America, dangerous, treacherous, rarely ever calm, very strange, deep, and weird. The patterns of flow and shit that go on down there. Dangerous to go around that. So again, Trudeau isn't taking this seriously enough when he makes speeches about, yeah, Donnie, you need us. No, Donnie needs what's under the earth of Canada, and if he wants that, he's probably going to send the military because he's not going to get it any other way. Greenland, the same thing. We might see him surround Greenland with some Navy ships. What the fuck they going to do? Nothing. We might see him surround the Panama Canal. What they going to do? Nothing. This the beast. So yes, I expect war. And I don't think Trudeau's taken seriously enough. I don't think the people of Denmark are taking. They thought before the call that Donnie didn't really want Greenland, that it was just a negotiating ploy. For what? What the fuck are we going to get from Denmark? Except Greenland, that huge piece of land that all Donnie's rich buddies want to start drilling, cutting up, fracking, just ruining it. Just like the fucking devil would. Just like Melkor would, or Morgoth, or Sauron would. Or Saruman would. That's what'll happen to Greenland if Donnie gets his hands on it. And last but not ever least, I gave you kind of a funny clip of Nick Fuentes. I wanted to give you the real Nick Fuentes, and this is a quote from his show. I want to live in a white country. If you're white, you probably do as well. I like being in a place where people look like me. I'm partially Mexican, but I have white skin. I kind of always knew he was an ethnic something, or half, or so. I could tell by looking at the kid. Did I care? No. But you got to ask yourself when someone's half Mexican. Why would you advocate for white supremacy and rounding up Mexicans? It doesn't make any sense, but all movements have turncoats and different things. That's why we end up here in the apocalypse, thanks to the rubes, because they've chosen it. They got 3 chances to not choose it. They chose it. Nothing we can do. I'm partially Mexican, but I have white skin. If I were to live in a community where people didn't look like me, it would degrade my life immensely. Hey, Nick, let me throw this one at you. This whole thing you've enabled, empowered, told lies about, spouted racist views, white supremacist views, even though you're not even fully white, you're half Mexican, according to you. This thing that you've made happen, Donnie Shitbags and the Nazi movement, well, you're not pure, Nick. You're half Mexican, according to them. They might look at you as, a Mexican and treat you the same as they're treating them. Because, white supremacist movements are all about purity. That's real important to them. They don't like mongrels. They don't like mix. They hate that. Even though some of them are. But, shh. Like this person the other day that loved Candace Owens, who was a black man. He literally wrote, "I hate the fact that I'm black." And one of the people he was watching was Candace, who talks shit on black people, praises Hitler, does all kind of crazy shit in her turncoating to grift money off of old white geriatric men that want to play out some slave fantasy. She knows what kind of grift she got going. Oh, trust me, son. And she milking it for everything it's worth. And here again, we've got a dude who's half Mexican enabling a white supremacist movement who, if they had their way, they would exterminate him because he's not pure. That's not an exaggeration. That doesn't make logical sense. But in all throughout history, there have been turncoats that turn on their own people or kind of people for money, status, authority, etc., and join with a movement that would literally, if they had their way, execute them. It's nuts. But this is the real Nick Fuentes, who's spouting white supremacist talking points whilst being half Mexican. That's how fucked in the head this kid is. Anyway, I don't know what else to say tonight. Let me just end it. I hope everyone has a wonderful evening. And the proper response to all this is to be scared. Don't worry. All you people saying, this is scaring me. It's scary. That's the proper response. It's supposed to be scary. Because hopefully at some point, a bunch of people are going to wake up when it gets to the point where he says, yeah, you got to sign this pledge of loyalty where you renounce God and you worship me. It'll go something like that. I don't know how exactly it'll play out, but that's the general sentiment of it. And eventually the thing will, this thing in the beginning I was talking about, the removal of the Palestinians, I forgot to mention this, the temple. This is part of the prophecy. This is part of the story. The temple of Jerusalem, the Jewish temple being rebuilt, because there's no temple there now. There's a Temple Mount with a mosque on it, with inscriptions that talk shit on Jesus, but that's beside the point. I'll save that for another evening. But if they want to build the Jewish temple again, that was there before. This was destroyed. Now, if they tried to do that, the Muslims would freak the fuck out. The whole world would want to go to war. It would start World War III. But we got a different scenario this time. For some reason, everyone's listening to this orange fellow. It's as if he has some type of blessing or something. It's almost as if it's supernatural. So this is what I think will eventually happen based on the story that I know. They need the Palestinians gone. One, that's why Donnie wants to do that. One, so he and Jared can put up their resorts and make, billions more with that great land next to Israel once those pesky Palestinians are out of the way. The other reason is Donnie needs a temple built. And so does the devil. And that temple will be the Jewish temple that used to be there. They're going to build it again. Here's the thing about that. Once they get the go-ahead to do that, it'll probably be up in about a week because they're going to throw as many workers at it as possible and get it done as fast as possible. And they've had all the pieces to build the temple, including even the sacrificial pig, picked out for decades. Already pre-staged, already ready to go, all the materials. They just waiting for that go-ahead. They've been waiting for so long. Guess who's going to come on the scene and help them get all them Palestinians out the way and make all kind of promises back and forth. So the Muslim world just lets it happen. Maybe they protest a little, But guess what? Donnie has the U.S. military. And if the U.S. military says there's going to be a new temple on that mount, there's going to be a new temple on that mount, and nobody going to stop them. Fucking nobody. So this is what Netanyahu has been waiting for. An American president to say, build that temple. We're going to get the Palestinians out of the way. Go ahead and build that temple. If anybody fucks with you, I got your back. Don't worry. Guaranteed. Once that temple's built, and it's going to go up quick, if I'm right. Because again, they've got it pre-staged. I've been following this for years. All the pieces are ready to go nearby. They just waiting for that go-ahead, because they know if they do it, again, it's going to start World War III. But for some reason, Donnie's going to be able to make the deal no one else could, just like he made at the beginning of his term here. All of a sudden, there's peace. No one else could do it, right? Only this person with the blessing could do it. And again, that's how I know what he is. He keeps proving it over and over. So that temple will be built most likely in the next 3 years. And that shit could go up in a week. You think it's going to take, 20, 30 years? Oh no, they've got every piece ready to go. For decades they've had it. Just waiting for that guy to come along, that American president, to say, the military gonna have your back. Go for it. No one will fuck with you, don't worry. And if they do, we'll wipe them off the fucking face of the planet. Why does Donnie want that temple built? Why does his master want that temple built? Because Donnie gonna walk into it, and he's going to declare himself God. That's why. When he does that, all motherfucking hell will break loose. Does it have to be the Jewish temple he does it in? I'm not sure, but I expect it will be. Because I know the Israelis got it all ready to go. And Donnie got all kind of, influence with people that should hate him. Muslims, Palestinians, all kind of people. It's again, it's almost, I don't know, it's almost supernatural. So if Donnie gets his way, the Palestinians go bye-bye. We ship them here, there, everywhere. And I have a feeling that Jordan and Egypt, all of a sudden, they're going to want to agree. Temple gets rebuilt. Donnie gets invited over to Israel, walks in, end of story. Once that happens, and I don't know when that's going to happen, could happen this year, next year, or the year after. 3.5 years. Once that happens, I'm talking about the second that happens. All motherfucking hell breaks loose on top of the hell we already went through for Israel. That's what I expect to happen at some point. That's where it's all going to end up. But there's a lot more to the story than that. And the people that worship him, that take his whatever he's going to give you, you people are in for the worst. I can't even describe it. I'll save it. Don't take what he's going to try and give you. That's all I can say. Again, you can walk away thinking you're more wise than me, smarter, or whatever. And when the time comes, oh, fuck him. I don't care. I just need to do this. It's going to cost you everything. Everything. You take that, you worship him, over for you forever. That is it. For 8 years, I've been trying to warn people. We in it now. For real. I wouldn't be putting this kind of time in if we weren't. And again, this whole thing, I get no pleasure out of this. This doesn't make me feel good. Whatever attention I get from whatever, people might wonder what my motivations are. My only motivation is I want to see as many people walk the right path as possible. And I don't know why I care about that, but I do. Care about complete strangers that I don't fucking know. Because I shouldn't. I should be like everybody else. Fuck it, whatever. I know what it is. Fuck it. Why should I put my name out there, face out there again for more scrutiny, more get called this, get called that, spirits coming after me, humans coming, all kinds of things I dealt with over the years. I've seen humans do and say things in the course of this that I know came from somewhere else and not them. And I really do think someone was trying to stop me to talking about this, getting to this point. Because this is the real game. This is the real fucking war. That fucking gypsy bullshit that we were involved with for whatever years, that plays into this. That's part of it. It was necessary, but it's nothing in comparison. This shit I'm talking about every night, this is not for entertainment. This is deadly, fucking serious, eternal consequences. Anyway, I've said enough. Until the next episode of The Apocalypse, have a wonderful evening.